I told you that Donald Trump is intent on hurting all of us, I wasn't kidding. I think the millionaires and the billionaires finally got the message.
Yup. This shit is finally going to hit white people. And I want to be super clear that when I make videos like the one I did about Vivek Ramaswamy's tweet, I know I do not need to speak to Black America. Y'all got this shit figured out. Black Americans know damn well about worker exploitation and the myth of the American dream. They also know how to vote in favor of their own interests, something white people are incapable of doing. And because social media likes to segregate us like we're in a prison yard, I'm trying to use that algorithm to my advantage and speak to white people. 53% of white women and 60% of white men voted for Donald Trump. And for some reason, they were so delusional that they believed only Harris voters were going to be harmed by Trump's policies. And yet, here we are in the FAFO time period where all of us are going to be hurt by Trump's policies.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. A lot of white Americans are now crying out after they voted the orange man in power. Now, things are not working well for them. Most of the things they thought Democrats or Republicans were going to solve in due time, they have not. Now, they are now crying out to the Black community for help. They are now crying out for unity. They want to unite with the Black community because they feel like their voice is not being heard by the same government they voted in. So let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
I just saw a clip of Donald Trump talking about how he's going to offer all of these U.S. farmers that have been here for 15 years that he would be normally deporting, which he is going to be deporting them, but he's now allowing them to come back and work for the farm owners and be owners of these people and take care of these people and have these people work for them and get benefits that non-citizens wouldn't get, but they still don't get citizenship. They're just here to work for people, to provide food for us. This sounds a little like something we've been through before.
I ain't gonna lie, come on with the segregation, bro. Come on with the segregation. Because what I look like being comfortable sharing anything with a bitch who put shampoo in their hair and let it run down their body as if that's the soap. No towel or nothing. Just hopes, dreams, thoughts, prayers, and shampoo. So you got concepts of a clean ass. No thanks, I don't want to share anything with you. Actually, I don't want to share anything with anybody whose ancestors was perfectly okay wearing a big enough dress to where they can squat in the middle of the street and take a dump. Yeah, so bring that segregation on, please, and hurry up. Because if you don't, I'm gonna call a CNA. I'm gonna call somebody to come over there and give you a bath. I'm like, please, don't make me threaten you with a clean ass, okay? Please, get those dirty thugs away from me. Keep them away from my pools. Keep them away from my water fountains. Keep them away from my hospitals. Keep them away from where I go shop at and get my groceries. I need nothing but melanin and ambiguous people around me. People of color. Let me have some of that. Yeah. Keep those dirty thugs away from me before I call the fucking cleaning company. Hello?
I'm not going to hesitate when I say this, but Donald Trump suggested slavery, owner responsibility. The man that lives and dies under the definition, make America great again. Owner responsibilities. And in terms of farmers, I say again, Donald Trump publicly said out loud, owner responsibility. Owner responsibility. Owner responsibility. Donald Trump has said out loud that he wants to bring back slavery. I cannot urge you enough. Call your local representatives. Call the White House. Leave messages. Write to your local representatives. Call your local congressman. This man has said out loud that he is okay with slavery. The context is there within itself. Owner responsibility. Owner responsibility. But of course, MAGA has always got an excuse. It's taken out of context. You're not understanding him. You're spreading fake news. Okay, so what do you think owner responsibility is? What do you think it is? Where do you think the original meaning of the saying owner responsibility came from? Where do you think it came from? Oh, wait. Trump is saying the loud parts out loud. He has been. He has been ever since the beginning of his term. But it's being ignored. It's being pushed to the side. It's being pushed under the rug. These things can't go unignored. They can't. These things cannot go ignored at all. So I'm going to continue speaking about it. That's what I have to do.
The Washington Post has just reported that Trump has ordered the removal of information on slavery at multiple national parks in an effort to scrub corrosive ideology. That also includes this famous photograph of a slave with scars on his back. Listen, I don't take the word fascism lightly, but fascists often rewrite and suppress history to craft a story of national greatness and purity. That's certainly...
All right, man. So Donald Trump won. If I'm not a slave by Friday, if I'm not getting put in shackles and chains, I'm trolling all of y'all. Y'all made it seem like this was finna be the end of the world or something, man. Here I am, driving in my brand new Ford F-150 5.0, fully loaded, in the, in a not the blackest side of the countryside, and my white neighbors love my black ass, They like us educated, mother and father respecting veterans, they don't have a problem. They called us colored back in the day, not niggas. But anyway, if I'm not a slave by Friday, man, some of y'all are really gonna hate me. Y'all gonna hate me because y'all put me through so much hell when I tried to have a conversation.
Trump just said one of the issues with the Smithsonian museums is how they talk about how bad slavery was. Don't even try to defend this one. You know what I'm going to, because you got to put it in context of the entire tweet. He's ranting about how these museums have an extreme bias towards the negative aspects of American history and not enough about the positive parts. That's just not what he said. You're adding nuance to a nuance-free thinker who made a nuance-free statement. He said straight up, it's an issue that these museums talk about how bad slavery was. Are the museums supposed to say slavery was good? Is this part of making America great again? No, but part of making America great again is removing this woke idea that America is an irredeemably racist country. Sure, these museums should talk about the bad parts, but they should give the good parts some highlighting too, like the moon landing or World War II victory or the American dream. dream are all the scientific and technological advancements that have come from our country. Everything you just listed is already exhibited and celebrated in the Smithsonian museums. They are already a mix of the good and bad. It's clear, though, by Trump's tweet that he believes the badness of slavery is exaggerated. And must I remind you, those who refuse to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Look, he signed an executive order in March with some specific examples of what he wants to change, like how the Smithsonian Art Museum has a Shape of Power exhibit talking about America's racist past and how we use sculpture as a powerful tool in promoting scientific racism. Oh, and promoting that race is a human invention. That's just one of the woke crazy exhibits that needs removing. Yeah, well, that was just an executive order written by his staff to obfuscate his true intentions, which he just made clear. He doesn't like how bad slavery is portrayed and he wants those exhibits removed. No, he just wants the good and the bad represented fairly. Well, he could have said something more diplomatic like that, but no, of course he just ranted about how bad he thinks slavery is portrayed. Like, what? All right.
Well, technically, we're already a slave to the system. You see, this racist justice system was created to benefit white people, and specifically white males. That's the whole purpose of having white privilege. That's the reason why, as you've seen so many times, there's even been videos where there's been white and black protesters. They will calmly take the white protester and lead them calmly out of harm's way while the black person gets a bad treatment. And I give you another example. Why are they killing up all the black innocent people? Yet you have all these white police, all these white school shooters, and they simply not only, calmly arrest them, but there's even been times they've been giving them water and gave them food before taking them to jail. It's the whole thing about.
I'm on social media, and all of a sudden I see a plethora of black people and some leftist white people talking about Trump is bringing back segregation. Trump has made segregation legal. I'm going to talk to the people that genuinely is concerned. I'm going to talk to y'all. The other people, I'm not talking to you because in your brain, Trump is racist and you don't want to hear anything we have to say. So I'm not talking to y'all. So keep scrolling. So there's this thing called the FAR clause, which stands for Federal Acquisition Regulation, which is basically just a bunch of clauses meant to protect equality and make sure that federal contractors aren't being discriminated against. Now, there's a section of the FAR clause known as the Prohibition of Segregated Facilities, which basically protects federal contractors from being discriminated against when it comes to public facilities. The Trump administration took that out. Now, here is where misinformation flies. By removing this from the FAR clause, this does not bring back segregation. And I want y'all to really think. If they wanted to bring back segregation, wouldn't they try to implement this everywhere? Well, there are two major reasons that I can comprehend of the Trump administration removing this from the FAR clause. That is, one, we no longer need that implemented in federal contracts because we are protected from segregation in the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So God forbid a worker was experiencing discrimination within the workplace, they could file a lawsuit under the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The second reason that the Trump administration most likely took this out is because this is a further rollback of DEI. By removing this piece from the FAR clause, you remove a sector of the federal bureaucracy. Remember, their goal is to reduce the size of government spending and the federal bureaucracy. We are trying to get rid.
So Trump is going to sign an executive order to bring back segregation, y'all. Fucking segregation. So this the part of making America great again? That we're going to be called color folks again? Huh, color people? But let me tell you about these color folks. These color folks y'all talking about now? We ain't the color folks our ancestors was. We much more different. We do not give a fuck about none of that shit Trump is trying to do. We not going to take the bait. We're not going to get out there, protest, getting mad. Look, no. We not taking the bait on that. So he could take away Jackie Robinson, all the black shit. He could take away DEI. He could take away all that shit. We not taking the bait. So if you want to segregate us from, I guess, the white people, that's fine with us because we already segregated already. But you got nerve to be the fucking leader of the United States and you thinking about signing a fucking executive order to segregate America? See, that tell you you don't got no fucking plans for nobody. Just fucking hate. But go on, sign your motherfucking executive order, Mr. Trump. We color folks, but we different type of color folks. I'm telling y'all. You could sign something, but you ain't gonna be able to take it too far. So y'all can have y'all bathrooms, y'all restaurants, whatever. We do not give a fuck, and we not taking the bait. So just keep pushing us, we just chilling. But sign a second.
Donald Trump cannot win. This whole fight on tariffs, he doesn't realize you can't win this fight because the American economy has never in world history done anything without slavery. Basically, we need cheap labor. We need labor that is oppressed. We need labor that has no rights. That is the only way this has ever worked. So when he says we've got to produce in America and everyone's just like, we can't do it, it's because we have never even tried to figure out an economic system that exists without somebody being the new slave class. If you go back to the roots of America, right? You go to the American Revolution, yay, we win. And then what happened? The country went into a serious depression. That's what they left out of the history books. So we always talk about the Great Depression and FDR, how he, rallied the troops and the New Deal. The first Great Depression was in the aftermath of the revolution. The country was destroyed by war. The country no longer had Britain to back them up. We no longer had the British as a trade partner. And all those British territories, like in the Caribbean, Southern planters couldn't send their crops there anymore for sale because the British are not messing with you no more. The country was in a depression. What pulled it out? Slavery. Slavery was actually dying. And then all of a sudden in 1793, the cotton gin gets produced and it's like, whoa, we have new life. And so the same field hands that go out and pick cotton, they're now like 300 times more productive. And so all of a sudden, America figured out we can flood the world market with cheap cotton because we don't have to pay the labor. And all of a sudden, America goes from a few dusty tobacco plantations on the East Coast to a major world economic power because 7/8 of the world's cotton supply comes from the United States of America. We never were going to figure this out without slavery. It was a dying experiment of a new country without slavery. And so you fast forward, all of a sudden, we're in a situation now where Donald Trump wants to figure out how to do everything the American way. And people are like, that's not even an option, bro, because we don't know how to do this without slavery. The capitalist system that we have has quite literally never worked without a slave class. And so when people talk about the immigrants, we need them to pick the strawberries. Who else is going to pick the strawberries? If they don't do it, strawberries are going to cost $80. Yes, because we have never even tried to imagine an economy without slavery. And so a lot of people get worked up when people talk about slavery. And why does everything have to be about slavery? Because the American story is about slavery. You don't have an America without slavery. The whole thing is slavery. From the White House to the insurance companies to the universities, every part of this, the first mortgage products, the first insurance product, Lloyd's of London, what was it? Marine insurance. What were they insuring? So again, Donald Trump is finding out the hard way that you mean to tell me we have an economy that can't exist without slave labor? Yes, that is exactly what we built. And it takes a real reimagining to undo that. It takes something beyond saying, let's build some factories here. We have to fundamentally look at how this system is built. What were the foundations of this system? And are there corrective measures? Because at present, all we got is slavery.
We're going to work something where the farmers can be responsible for some of the people that have been. They have people run for 10, 15 years that they know very well. We're going to put them responsible and we're going to issue a form of a card or document, and the farmer is going to be responsible for these people. They're not going to have citizenship, but they'll be working, they'll be paying taxes. We need to get our farmers the people they need. Otherwise, our farmers aren't going to be able to do their land. You know, it was tried once before, many, many years ago, where there was a very strong guy And he got everybody out, and every farm almost in the country, but every farm in California, every farm in Iowa, almost all the farms went bankrupt. They had nobody to work, and we don't want to have that situation. So we're going to work it. We're going to put our farmers and others in charge of the people that they have under them. They know the people, and I think it's going to work out really well. We're going to take care of our farmer, but we're going to...
Trump is trying to end the ICE protests with reinstating slavery, with him literally quote for quote saying we do not want illegals unless it benefits us. And a lot of people are saying Trump is a joke after this, asking why haven't we impeached him, after saying he wants to sign an executive order that would allow certain undocumented immigrants to remain in the US, but only to help prevent a shortage of farm workers. And if you guys know how slavery was originally started, you would understand why that would be concerning. And what seems even more strange is it seems like only after Trump advocates have been at these ICE protests that he's now talking about it. This picture was at the Florida anti-ICE protests. And there have been reports of different TikTokers and social media influencers allegedly being offered over $200 to join these nationwide No King Stays protests. They were specifically trying to recruit this TikToker to go to the New York City ones. And with this getting so much coverage...
Trump just brought back segregation. That's all that's on my FYP today. Be so for real right now. We are in 2025. Just stop with that freaking narrative. Just stop already. What's even worse is the amount of people that I'm seeing commenting that are like, yeah, good. I hope he brings it back. And most of those people do not look like me. Yeah, so I don't know why you would want that. Sounds pretty damn hateful to me. He did not bring back segregation. What he did is try to protect women and children in bathrooms. I don't see where that's a problem. I would prefer to not have to worry about being in a restroom with a man walking in. Just a thought. I do have a daughter. I'd like to know that she's safe when she's in there. So, yeah. Trump did not bring back segregation. He did not bring back racial segregation. For those in...
So, through executive order, President Trump, the president of the United States that some of y'all elected, has targeted the mentioning of slavery and slavery artifacts in the National Museum of African American History and Culture. He's targeted that for erasure. Why? Because there's an innate desire to rid this country of anything that reflects the hideous, horrendous, horrific, criminal actions that were taken by the people who led this country in the past. There's a complete desire to put us back in a subclass system where we were before and to eliminate all of the proof that it was done by force, by criminality, through murder, through assault, through rape, through subjugation, through suppression, through oppression. That's where we are right now. Let me give you one more article that I thought, and you know what, you can check for BBC, Politico, U.S. News and World Report, Black Press USA. A whole bunch of people have done Substacks on it. Baller Alert's been talking about it. The Hill has been talking about Trump attempting to whitewash history through these executive orders. But in the U.S. News and World Report, they discuss how since Inauguration Day, Trump's been blazing a path of destruction through nonpartisan institutions being attacked. And what they mean by this is the Black History Museum, the African American History Museum, the Blacksonian, that law that enabled it to happen was passed by President George W. Bush. And the museum was actually opened under President Obama. With y'all seen that picture with President Bush, the second President Bush, sitting there with our forever FLOTUS, Michelle Obama, and they just holding hands and smiling and hugging on each other for dear life, just so happy. That was at the opening of this museum because everybody who desired to at least acknowledge the substantive contributions of Africans who were forced to come to this country, who were enslaved, and then later alleged.
Hello everyone, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. I sometimes wonder how people reason. Sometimes I even sit down and question humanity so much. Sometimes I even sit down, start asking myself questions, because how on earth do you vote someone? Then later on shift the blame on those who didn't vote the person. You actually start threatening the same people who avoided the problem that you brought. I've been sitting down and trying to analyze every possible reasons why some people could be so mad to those people who didn't vote MAGA, and I've always failed to understand. Now, let's talk democratically, because I mean, and I get to understand that US is being regarded as the most democratic country in the world. Now, if that's the case, if US has actually been bringing democracy to Africans, and it has been preaching democracy to every part of this world, now I'm here to understand why it is so hard for the same people who talk about democracy to understand that democracy is that which rule of the people, by the people, and for the people. And in this case, everyone has a right. That is, everyone is entitled to rights that are stipulated in the Constitution. Be it the rights have been very clearly defined or not, everyone has the same right. So if you say you have the right to vote and the right to choose who is going to be who in the next government or who is going to be elected, then allow others also to have the same right to exercise. Now, it's very sad that I've been seeing a lot of people crying out on social media and trying as much as they can to threaten the black community and the white community, also those who didn't vote for MAGA. Now, if they themselves are complaining about the situation, they are complaining about whatever is happening right now in the US. So what gives them the right to blame shift the people who didn't vote for the same which they consider as a problem? So brothers and sisters, sometimes it's very difficult. Let's just agree. Let's just admit that sometimes things might work not the way we want. But in whichever case, let's try as much as we can to comply and try to accept realities instead of living in a very fascinated world, in a world full of illusions. I've been watching a lot of clips. I've been watching a lot of people talk about how things should be done. But they have not talked about how everyone is considered to have a right to do whatever they want. If you go and vote someone who is not, who you are not well placed with, someone who is not working the way you thought they're going to work, it is your responsibility to apologize to those who didn't vote for the problem, not to shift blames and start making demands as if your demands are not met, you're going to do something crazy. What's that? Now, the MAGA mindset on immigration was very crazy. We should all admit it, that most of them thought that when the illegal migrants were going to be taken out, the country will be good. That these people, they were convinced that the undocumented immigrants were the one that were bringing lawlessness, joblessness, and so many other things, unemployment rate, I mean. Now, most of them, especially, they went to vote against the undocumented immigrants. And this was one of the biggest agenda that the Orange Man sold to his supporters and to the world. that is going to make America great. And I've seen a video of Shahid Bolson asking about when did America become great in the first place? Because American dream is a lie. Everything America has sold to the world is a lie. They have tried to manipulate the population in the outside here so that they have been seen as the Messiah. They have been seen as the supreme country, right? They can be supreme because they are doing really good economically and they have one of the largest armies. So they control the world. They have the powers. But you should not be convinced by the fact that someone is coming to change. You have a different life other than the US itself. You have your life, then there is a life of the country. Now, the nation will propel however much you go down, you know. It is the economy that controls a country. The economy of the country matters the most. So, however much they're trying to tariff and all do these things, it might affect you. But some people at the helm of power are benefiting from this. So, lest you forget, never should you vote out of emotions that people are going to be, the illegal immigrants are going to leave our country. So what? These are the people who have actually held the economy because they come with the American dream in mind. They want to work hard and be rich. They want to become millionaires. They come and they do every other job. However much the salary might not fit whatever they are doing, but they do it because they know where they're coming from, things are not good. Now, I want to talk to you good people, and I want us to understand. Deportations are not a win for law and order. You are lied to that you do not have law and order in the US because of undocumented immigrants. And now you want to know the truth, and there is a reality. And the problem to this is that most of you believed the resources that are in the US are enough without undocumented immigrants. That the time they will kick out the illegal immigrants or the undocumented immigrants, the resources will now come to everyone. Everyone will be employed. The crops will be doing good in the farms. The harvests will be big, you know. Salaries, people will now get to be tipped. Salaries will increase and all this other stuff. What's the reality right now? It is hitting harder than we even thought. You know, I actually do not believe in whatever politicians say most of the time. We've been lied to, not once, not twice, but we've believed in these lies. And the fact that we continue believing and voting for the same politicians is crazy. And I've always said that the politicians are not the problem. We, the people, are the problem. If the political class has managed to convince you over the years, year come, year go, with the same lie, now who is the problem? Is it the political class or you? If someone sells a lie to you over and over again, without even changing their character, without having to change their behavior, you who believes in the lie is the problem. Me who is telling the lie, I'm not the problem. Because you should have realized long enough that Trump was there. Democrats have been there. Republicans have been there. Has the situation in the US changed? That's the question. The same lies are coming to be sold to you in the next few years. Now, do you really want to believe that someone else is coming to reverse all the orange man is doing and make you great and your country great? Hell no. Politicians are just the same. They dine together. Their children go to school together. It is you and your friend and your brother and sister somewhere who are having problems with each other. But these people who control almost everything in our countries, they know the game. And they know the easiest way to convince the people is to pretend that they are actually having different ideologies. When they get to power, they behave the same. They increase your taxes. They make life a hell to you. And they make sure, even in the worst scenario, you never have a time to laugh. You never have time to concentrate on the politics of your own country. That you are always on your heels, thinking on how you're going to pay the taxes. Is this whatever you want to live the whole of your life? I've always believed, and I still believe, that we the people can change the way political class has always viewed us. The only way to do that is by uniting, is by coming together. Let's not focus our anger towards our own brothers and sisters. It is the biggest mistake we've done over time. If we really want to change the way things work in our countries, we have to start from here before it comes here, before it comes here. Let your brain think before your eye sees it. Because your eyes are meant to see whatever is in front of you. And your mouth is used to negotiate for you. So let your brain think. Your mouth will talk as you see. Do not let your eyes deceive you. Do not let your ears deceive you. Do not let your mouth get you into trouble by agreeing to some things that are not good. Thank you so much for having taken the time to watch this video. Brothers and sisters, I really appreciate the support you're giving to this channel. We consider saying the truth. We continue saying the truth without giving up. Thank you so much. May I see you in our next episodes. Thank you.